Hello everyone, my name is Adam, and today I want to show you a program that I've been working on for the last little while. So this program, what allows is, let's say you have plenty of different computers in your household, and you want to manage them properly. So you're going to specify one computer as your server, and have all those different computers as your clients. And from that software, you can send files, backup, and hopefully plenty of different stuff. So I've had actually two versions of this program. I had version 1.0, which was not the best. I've had a lot of issues when it came to managing computers, detecting if they left, and a lot of just crashes in general. So I decided to create a new framework. I guess you could call it framework. And this framework has a new way of sorting systems as well as a new way to communicate with them. So I'm using Python 3.7.3, and specifically I'm using the socket module to connect between those computers. So to give a quick briefing of how this all works, let me just show you. So I'm already connected, but I'm just gonna go restart. It sees that I'm connected to my network, and I'm already connected. Really easy. Let's check in on the server, and we see we have some text. If I do /ls all, I see that I am connected. So let's go through all the information we see here. So this is the last time I received a message from my computer. The number, so let's say if you different, a lot of different computers, you would have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The name, the host name, IP address, socket, MAC address, client port, as well as the different threads I'm running. As well, for now I have basic functionality, so that's messaging. So I can message the computer. So, hey, down here, I got a hey. I got a hey back. Pretty cool. Anyways, let me show you, well, as well, I can also send a file. So we do /send /ls. Let's say I want to send update manager.txt /select update manager dot, can't type right now, txt. Finish sending. Client, I receive my file. This comes in my folder. Client. I got 1.4 running. Go to my update manager.txt 1.4. So basic sending functionality works too. In version 1, I had backup software, and it'll probably work even better on this new framework. As you can see, I still have the old code. Anyways, before I dig into the actual code, I want to show you, basic functionality and just a general flowchart of how everything works. So it all starts on the, well, there's actually one thread. So that we have the main thread over here, and this takes care of starting the general thread, which is always listening, and has a specified port of 8888. Main also takes care of user input. So let's say my laptop connects to the general thread. The first thing the general thread will do, it will give it a temporary name and start cataloging the amount of information it can. Afterwards, my laptop is going to send its info, which contains a MAC, host name, and the name I gave it. Afterwards, the server is going to look on the client list. And let's say I am the 5th laptop, so it's going to say, all right, you are laptop number 4, because I already started at 0. And from that 4, it's going to decide which ports it gets. Actually, let's make it easier to say it's port 0, client 0, and we'll give it port 1, 2, 3. So it's going to send 1, sorry about that, 2, 3 to the, before anything else happens. So send 1, 2, 3 to the to the client, and afterwards it's going to start two new threads, or actually three bats for later. It's going to start a receive thread, which is going to get port 1. It's going to start the checker thread, which is going to be port 2, and the checker thread also starts another checker thread, which I'll explain why later. And then port 3 is going to be associated with the file sending, but that's not always on. But what's important about this 1, 2, and 3 is that anything I send between the server and the client, these three ports can't interact between each other. So the messages can't get mixed, which was a huge problem when it came to the last version of my software. On the client side, so once this is all set, it uses the last socket, so the temporary socket, and it sends OK, ready, to the laptop. So now the laptop knows it can disconnect from the general thread and connect to the dedicated threads, or dedicated servers. And that's really it when it comes to how this is all, from zero to the finish. But I'll get into some detail about how everything's cataloged, as well as what happens when a computer leaves. So let's talk about how it's all cataloged. So let's go to the server code, and we see that I just have a simple class, and in this class we have a bunch of different arrays, which I can show back over here, that all take care of the different computers on the server. So the laptop name, host name, IP, and the threads. And then as every computer joins, it just appends it to these threads. One thing I did add was, let's say my computer leaves, so let's just disconnect. So it sees that that happened, the checker realizes it, and now I won't have an empty array. Instead I'll have replace. So my mentality was that, let's say I have a bunch of different computers connected to the server. One leaves, so that it all stays consistent. That instead of having, like, let's say, like, what usually happens is that all the different computers just move one by one to sort of array. I don't really like that. So instead I have this replace things held that says, all right, when a new computer joins, let it take that spot. And that's it. So besides that, it kind of just sees as invisible. And it also, allows us to have the client number stated like that, because the client number says what position the computer is in the different arrays. That makes sense. So now we'll start looking into the server code. So first thing it does, it runs main. Main starts the general thread, and then also takes care of the input afterwards. Go to starter. Missed it. Specified port 8888. It waits for because this is a thread that's always running, it waits for a connection over, well, it just listens. Once a connection appears, it goes to the accept wrapper, which accepts the code, and afterwards it takes care of the service connection, which is, my part of the code. I will get into more detail about all this code later, but I just find that this code will be changed, so I find that I should take care of a full code analysis at the end of the series. So the first thing it does, it gives it a temporary name. So it just, holds a spot in the array for me. Afterwards, we append the temporary sock, the client name, which is the temporary name, as well as the IP, which I get from the socket. And then I just put a placeholder for the update. Afterwards, I add the port to the list. So what this function does, it sees how long this list is without the replace. So, replace is still there, it'll still see it as an empty list. And then, let's say it's the first part. So the first item, the first new item in the array is going to give it port 1, 2, 3. Second item in the array, 4, 5, 6. And then so on and so forth, Afterwards, I grab the client number. So I give it the IP address, and I say, all right, what position is this computer in the array. So it just gives me the client number. And this is pretty useful because I can just, hey, what's the port? Client number. Alright, give me the port. Next up, I wait for the laptop to send me the different information. So this is the host name, and MAC address. It sends it to me, I split it up, and then I just put into these different variables. I print it out for myself. I replace the temporary name with the new name. I print it out, and then I append the host name, the MAC address, and then the ports. And then I print out the ports. So next thing I do is I start the new thread. So this is the receiver thread and the checker thread, and I give it the client name. Once that is all done, I start my dedicated starter, which is a function. And once that is done, I just, kick them off. So dedicated starter, all it is I use the port, my dedicated port. I create a socket, I bind it, I accept, oh, sorry, no. So what I do is I don't actually kick it out yet. I kick it out after this is all done. So I send to the temporary socket the port that it needs to use. So then I accept it, and then I start my receiver thread. Sorry, the last part I wasn't starting it. I was just giving it a variable name. And then I also start my checker thread. And after that, I can kick it off the server, or I can kick it off, the client kicks itself off the general starter, and that's really it. So once that is done, the receiver thread starts. All it does, plain and simple, listens for input from the user, and then it prints it out. The checker thread, well, there's actually two threads associated with it. So we have one thread which always sends a message to it. And because this is a new server on its new port, I need to actually create it and then accept it and all that stuff. Afterwards, on the check, and then it starts my checker2 thread over here. And what this does, it listens for information or from the test information from the client. And once it receives that, it just updates, updates the array to say, all right, this is the last time I received anything from the client. You can view that by just doing slash client status. Oh wait, there's no computer there. Oops. You can actually watch it connect. There we go. Don't know why that happened. And now slash client status. So we see the last time we got it was 0 seconds ago. And besides that, that is really it. The reason I had two threads is because if the computer disconnected and I'm waiting to receive an input, I can never send an output, a message to the client to check that I can actually send it there. I'll get into more detail about that later. And that's really it. The client code is the exact same. Besides just having a general thread, well, it has a general thread which connects to the server. It sends information, grabs the ports, starts its thread, and that's it. All this code will be on my GitHub. And I also want to mention that I want this to be a more community-based program. So I would like to have your questions, your suggestions, and everything. And I want this to become quite just a program that people use because I do see a lot of potential in it. And I'm more than happy to have people contribute to this and engage because that would be great for me. So if you have any questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comments and I will surely answer them. And if you want to get involved in this project, you can contact me. I will leave all my contact information below and hopefully we can get this thing rolling. Alright, thank you and have a great day.